Good morning, America. Today, coming straight from sunny Binghamton, New York, and guess what? I'm not joking today. Usually, that's a big joke because there's never sun in Binghamton, but we have Binghamton sunshine today, and you bet I'm going to get out with the dog. It's something that I can do, even though we're quarantined, I can walk the dog. So happy Thursday. And this is Yvonne DeVito with Smart Women Conversations. I have such a special guest today. I'm just really thrilled to introduce Dana Ohana. Dana, say hello.
Hi.
Dana is in South Africa. So this is just an honor to be able to talk with her about her business and about how life is not as different around the world as we think. People are people, and being connected is one of the best things that we can do during this time. So before we get too much further, I want to actually say a little bit more about Dana. And let me do this. But I have to put on my trusty glasses because that's how it goes. Dana relocated to South Africa from Israel 4 years ago. She says, if you would ever have asked me if I would relocate to a different country, I would tell you never. But when I got the proposal, I just knew I needed to say yes. She goes on to tell us, my first call was to my mom that immediately said yes also. So I came here as a marketing manager, which was an amazing experience. However, during that time, her mom got very sick. She was flying back and forth to help take care of her mom. And when her mom died, she decided to stay. And she founded Think Big, Do Big, Be Big Consulting. And this is one of the things I wanted to talk about with you and why I wanted Dana on the show. She knows it's her time to share her knowledge and experience and to empower female entrepreneurs. Gosh, everybody, where have you heard that before? She has 10 years of experience in marketing and public relations in South Africa and abroad. She has a BA degree in communications and management and an MBA in business management with a major in marketing and advertising. Dana believes we are all brands. Yep. We are, each one of us. We are all unique, and we all have a story to share, the story that got us to where we are now. She's here today to share her story, and she's going to share the love and a different way of looking at things. That is also true. We talked originally, you and I, about that different way of looking at things. This is one of the things I love about Dana. She says, there's a lovely saying I always use to describe me. The shortest distance between two people is a smile. And she has a beautiful, beautiful smile. I can tell you that. So Dana, what a journey. 4 years. You've accomplished and experienced a lot in that 4 years. Tell us a little bit about how that all came about. And gosh, I mean, how are things now where you are?
So, wow. First, thank you for hosting me. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story. It's funny because I'm very attached to my family. And like Israelis, we grew up in a country that family is the most important thing in your life. Like, there's no way like that people think like to move. There is the younger generation that start to move more and more to different countries to succeed and things like that. But when I first got the offer, like it was some idea that was running in the company. And when the proposal just came, I knew like, this is it. Like, I cannot say no to something like that. I need to grab it. And I really called my mom at that moment. And I remember she asked me one thing because I'm single. Yes. But she asked me, for the first time, she actually asked me, what about getting married? And I like stopped and I said like, and what about me being single and staying in Israel for 2 years and then I missed an opportunity of moving to South Africa? I'm not taking that chance. I'm not gonna, if I'm supposed to be in a relationship, I'll find it. just say
Right.
okay. And she was actually the one that supported me, and my dad was against it because he wants his kids very close. So
Wow.
just like a bit background, like in Israel, we all a mix. So my dad is actually Moroccan, and my mom was born in Israel, but my grandma, she's from Iraq. So I'm a mix of cultures. And that's why my dad, like as a part of a Moroccan side, it was very holding, like, no, 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 my kids are staying close to me. And that's part of the debate I have with my dad pretty much a lot. Till now, even after my mom died, like he's keep on saying, like every once in a while, you need to come back. I need you here. You need to be here. And I keep fighting, like, no, dad, it's not my time. I don't know how to explain it to him in a way that he will understand why I think I still need to be here. But I also see that he's trying to be like my mom, and then he tells me, okay, you can stay. But after a few weeks, I'll get again the same conversation over and over again. But I just decided to come here, and I remember when my general manager offered me the proposal, he asked me on a text message, so do you want to move to South Africa? And I'm like, yes. Are you sure South Africa? Johannesburg? I'm like, yes. I was clueless about why he asked me all those questions. This is like, listen, it's not that I'm asking you to move to London, Berlin, or something like that. It's Johannesburg. I'll book you a flight and go see. What do you think? And I just came here and I fell in love with South Africa. The mix between the look and feel of Europe with the United States and the type of people, and they're so nice and warm and welcoming. I really enjoyed it, and I said, I know I'm gonna come here, and I had an amazing experience here. Although as I said, like in my sharing, that I didn't have an easy time because I was flying a lot back and forth to be with my mom. Because when my mom got sick, it took me a bit of a time until I decided to read what the doctor said. And of course, my dad was upset. Why did I need to read? And then I realized it's a type of tumor that there's no cure. But I'm very stubborn. I'm Sagittarius. So I decided there's no way solution will come. And I was really fighting till the last minute. So I was lucky enough to be in South Africa and in a company that allowed me to fly a lot and work from home. So I used to go to Israel and work from next to my mom's bed, and I will sit with her all day, and I'll take her to do Tai Chi and things like this. We'll do art. And then on the same time, I'll be with my laptop and even take her to the hospital, and people see me with my headphones and with my laptop. So, oh, it's arthritis radiation. Okay, I'll call you back. Closing my laptop, going with my mom. So I'm very grateful for this. And I just fell in love with the country, and that's why when after my mom died, I knew that this is where I need to stay. My journey here is not over. And because of different changes that were in the company, I didn't want to go back to Israel. It wasn't an option. And I skipped that option, and I took a risk to maybe find another role in the company, but it wasn't working. But even before that, I just realized that I want to do something by myself. And that's when I came with the company name, the thing big, do big, be big. And I actually was sitting like for like an hour in front of my laptop until the name just came, and I just knew it. And on the day after, I went to do a yoga class at 5 o'clock in the morning. And just before the class started, I understood, like, what's big? What does big mean? So I literally took my phone and I'm writing down quickly so I won't forget it. And my teacher looks at me, Dana, we're starting. Just a second. And I wrote that for me, big was branding, innovation, and growth. And I just knew it. It was just something that came from the inside to the outside. And I just took it like this. And since then, I'm loving this country. I moved to Cape Town from Johannesburg. I've got amazing friends that are my family. Although we're now on 21 days of lockdown, but I'm not alone for a second. I've got an amazing support from Israel. I've got amazing support here, and I've got amazing people that I meet every single day, and I'm grateful for that. So yeah.
So your internet connection is a little jumpy. We're not, when you talk, it kind of freezes up. I'm not sure why. If there's somewhere
It's
in
not
your...
from my house because I see it very smooth. I see it very smooth.
You see it very smooth.
Like
At my end, you're very jerky or you're frozen. Is there anywhere in your apartment that's a better, a window?
I think it's from your side because I see that mine is working well. I can hear you clearly, and I can
Mm-hmm.
hear myself, and nothing is moving. And I've been using it. I'm like next to the router, so
Right. So it should be fine. It's a little bit unstable. But the story is really fantastic. And the way you tell it is so it's so attractive in the sense of so many of us have kind of that experience, but we don't do it. We feel that, oh, here's this wonderful thing. I could do this, do big, be big consulting. And we just were too afraid, so we don't do it. So what gave you the courage? I understand how it came to you, and you've had this really kind of unusual experience of moving there and having your mom be sick, and then your mom passed. It must have been scary. Was it?
it was.
What gave you the courage?
So I think what got me the courage is that, I've looked at my mom. My mom was working in a bank for 30 years or more. She always dreamed to be something else. And in the age of 50 some, she went to study interior design. And the moment she resigned, like left her job, and started, like she really wanted to start this new career. That's like a year after she got the disease. So I guess like in my mind, I kept on telling myself, I'm not going to wait for the last minute for nothing. If I want to make a change, I'm going to make it now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've been working. So what, am I going to move as a marketing manager from one company to another, do a different brand? I felt like, why do I need to keep repeating the same thing over and over again for someone else instead of like actually taking actions? And, and in my mind, I always wanted to start my own company, but I never had the courage to do it. And then when there was the changes in the company, I felt like it's the universe kicking me in the ass and telling me, now it's your time. Now you can do it. And I just decided like, I'm not gonna say that I don't have fears. I've got lots of fears. After my mom died, I have discovered that I've got plenty of new fears that I need to deal with. But if there's something nice I read once in a book is that, you need to acknowledge your fears. You need to tell yourself, this is what I'm afraid of. So I took a notebook and I wrote down what are my fears. And I'm just acknowledging them, but I'm learning not to let them control me. Because if they're going to control me, I'm not going to get far in life. And I remind it to myself every day. And it's not only on my business, it's on my relationship, it's with my friends, it's a lot of things that I want to do in life. And I keep reminding to myself that I'm not going to let my fears control me. I know what I can do, and I can do it. And there's no reasons why others can do it or not. And you know what's the funny part? That I think that a lot of people that listen even to us now, they probably watch other people's webinars and then they listen like, but I know that, but I also know that. And they're like getting frustrated, like how that person gets so much money with what they charge in the end. And like, where am I? So why not do it? We can all do it. It's just to have some courage, do it, and finding the right supporting group to be there for you. So I'm grateful to have my family that, although with the struggle that they want me to be there in Israel, they support me. My dad actually called me today on a video chat to say about a video he watched yesterday of me, and he said he's proud of me. And that made my day. And I've got amazing friends that always keep up the good work. You're doing it. So that's it. To find the right people to support you and push you. I think that's also very important when you decide to do something. And again, not to let your fears control you, because why? What are you going to benefit? I always remind myself, if tomorrow is my last day, I want to know that I've done whatever I could, like that I'm happy with what I've done, with what I've accomplished.
Right.
And because I'm Israeli and we grew up in a more like a war zone kind of style, and we have different situations that put you like, in the 90s, my dad was working as a bus driver and there were all the suicide bombs. So you learn to appreciate life in a different way, in the way we see things. So I guess that's why part of it, like I always have in my mind, like if tomorrow is my last day, am I happy? Am I doing what I want to do? And if I can answer yes, so I know I'm in the right place. And yes, of course you always want more and more, but that's how you grow in life. But I'm just like, Just do it.
Yeah.
And my mom also said to me, and this is something I think I took as a will to me. We're on our way back from the hospital after doing like radiation or something like this, or chemotherapy. And she told me in the car, you didn't choose to come to this world. I chose to bring you here. So you're not going to give up on nothing for no one. You're going to do what you want to do in life. So I think I got stuck with this in my head. And even when one of my friends came to her and she told her, you know, Dana's coming back now to Israel. My mom shouted. My mom was so quiet. She's like, no, she's staying there. Like she knew that this is what I need to do. And I had the full support. And I know, although I'm not a mom, I'm sure that it was very tough on her to let me go and let me be in a different country while she's experiencing what she's experiencing. But she was amazing. So I hope I'll do similar things to my kids at one day, and, you know, allow them to be themselves and express themselves and just do what's right for them.
Yes. And so one of the things that you wrote in what I was reading when I was telling people a little bit more about you, it was about everyone being a brand in themselves. And you know, we kind of tried to teach that to our bloggers when I ran I was part of a team that ran a blogger influence community. And well, they knew they were a brand, but they didn't know what that meant. So talk about that. Each person is an individual brand.
So I really believe in this, that, you know, we are brands, and a lot of people think that brands belongs just to companies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not. It used to be, but it actually, before companies, it was belonged to farmers. So that's how they stamp like the cows. And a brand is each and every one of us, and that's the beautiful part of it. And I believe that everything we do in life is part of what builds us as a brand. We all have a story behind us, and brand is no longer also what we tell other people about us. It's the perception people have about us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we need to make sure that we, like, you know, with everything we do, that we tell the story the way we want it to be heard, you know, and we tell it to the right people. And I also like to look at it from the side that there's a nice exercise that I like to give to some of my clients when we do like the branding workshop, is to go home and ask, and I invite everyone here to do it as well, just to go home and ask your husband, ask your colleagues, your friends, your family, which brand they think you are. And you will find out actually what other people think about you, and you will understand better how we perceive certain brands. So for example, one of my friends gave me Coca-Cola because Coca-Cola is very bubbly and mainstream and it touches so many people. And she gave me a lot of different like descriptions and stuff that I do. And I'm like, okay, wow, it was very interesting for me. And then it helps you understand how people perceive you. And then you can see how you perceive yourself, because you know how you perceive yourself. If they perceive you here and you here, you need to close that gap. You need to start working on yourself and understand, why am I missing out something with me that they actually see me as an amazing person, but I'm not. But it also can be the opposite, that I think that I'm amazing, but all my friends think that I'm actually in a different place. So also there's a gap, and it's a great opportunity to check what other people think about it and where we want to be. And that's a beautiful part, because also if people perceive us as the way that we perceive ourselves, are we happy from the way we perceive ourselves? Or are we want to be better?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great way to look at this. And that's why I believe that like everything that we do in life is part of it. And there's a nice formula I love to follow, is that event plus reaction equal to the outcome. So events will happen. My mom got sick. It would have happened regardless, to nothing that I could have done. It was
Right.
out of my control. This coronavirus, it's happening. It's out of our control.
Mm-hmm.
The way we react to these events, that's what's going to lead us to the final outcome. So I've decided that I'm not giving up on anything. I'm pushing myself forward, and that's where I'm taking my life. Even with this virus, I'm deciding to look at the positive thing about the option now to build a community around you, to connect with people, to share your knowledge, you know, build yourself, build something that is strong with a strong foundation for the long run. And that's how I see things. And that's how I believe in taking my brand. And I know it sounds sometimes easy to say, and it took me a while and only now I'm rebranding myself again, and I'm sharing my pictures in the quotes that I'm posting. I finally have the courage to put myself in the front, and it took me a while to get there. So I'm not saying that everyone can do it like so quickly. Everyone's got their own process, but that's part of it. You got a life story. Think about it. Am I ready to share it? Is it going to help me to heal myself? If yes, start sharing, start inspiring others. Tell the story behind you. You are the brand. And we all have something to share and get inspired by others. Like some will listen to me and say, wow, she will inspire me. Some maybe not. And if I inspired you to share now your story, I've done my job. That's it. Just go and share it with others. And that's how we're gonna become like much more stronger as a community. And I think we lost it a bit in the last like few years, that people are very individuals and taking care of themselves instead of getting back to the community. And I think that's the beauty in that coronavirus now, that people are at home and they're building different communities around them. And it doesn't matter from where. Like I actually yesterday did a live video chat, which was funny, with a lady that I actually met her online because I was giving her an advice for free. And she's an Israeli that lives in Barcelona. I'm an Israeli that lives in Cape Town. Wow. And we both put together a live event to just inspire others and answer people's questions from 2 different countries to 1 country. And that's amazing. And that's the power we've got today. So use it. Use this online to share you as a brand. And also think like, am I happy with the story that I'm telling? Is that going to do good to me? Is that going to do good to others? Is that the why I get up in the morning and I do what I do? And it's a great time now to reflect and to adjust. If you're happy with what you're doing, spread it, spread the rumor and build yourself. And I think that the stories that we tell, people are going to remember this for a long time. And if we look at even like all the different presidents, celebrities, after they die, there's a story behind them that we all remember. There are the brands, you know, and everyone hears the story from a different angle. The fans will hear it from one angle. The family that got a different one, and that's the beauty. So think about how you tell the story and to who you tell it, and make sure that they actually understand it the way you want them to understand it, that they take it from the right place and move it forward and inspire others.
Excellent. So exactly what you're saying is what I preach, telling the right story to the right people. And that's where Nurturing Big Ideas comes in, because we're all about words, and that's how you tell your story. But today, the beauty that we're experiencing is we just met. We met, I think, on Spot a Guest or LinkedIn.
On Instagram.
Instagram. Oh, Instagram. See, I'm not that good at Instagram, and I'm just starting to use it. And I immediately, without even knowing you, Dana, I was like, she's someone I need to get to know better. And what better way to do that than what we're doing here? Sharing. You shared a really phenomenal story about your mom and your journey to where you are now. You're in Cape Town, correct? But you're from Israel, and there are so many women who are going to be watching this that have never left the United States. And well, Canada doesn't count, folks. So I'm one. I've never traveled overseas or outside of the United States. Tom and I've talked about going to Israel because I know a friend who wants to go and was planning and had to cancel the trip. He wants to go to Ireland because he's Irish. And I mean, there's a reason for it, but in the end, Dana, exactly everything you're saying is you have a brand of who you are with a story. Your story could inspire and resonate and make someone else feel, wow, that's it. I could do that too. I could do more or get courage and move forward in some of my ideas, because look what Dana did. And so when we tell the stories, it builds the community. And I love what you said about the celebrities. And when they're not here anymore, here are the stories being told about them. So let's say, what is the story about for instance, Marilyn Monroe, she was the blonde bombshell back in her day, but she was very unhappy and she died of a drug overdose. I mean, we look at some of these really famous people who struggled, even though we thought they had the perfect life, right? So what is our story and what are we going to be leaving behind? So while you're there in your brand, I love that your friend said you were like Coca-Cola. Talk to us about what you feel your brand is now with your consulting.
So before I'm going to tell you about my brand, I actually just want to give another example, like, and just to give you the courage to do it. So I not only moved from one country to another, I moved from a country that English is not the main language. We don't speak English. We learn English in school and kindergarten, but you don't speak the language on a daily basis. So people are very afraid from the language. They can understand. We watch like movies and everything like English, but we don't have it. And it's funny. And in Israel, you also used to the American English, and here it's a British English. So you also need to learn certain stuff to express.
Yes.
And there is a gap. And I remember that I even told myself, but maybe I'm not going to manage with the language. What am I going to do? It's like business. I have to talk all the time English. What am I going to do? And then I remind myself, okay, it was an American boss that told me to move. So I guess I'll be fine. And so I convinced myself in my head. And I'm not going to say it was easy. There were times that like I was checking all the time in the dictionary, especially when we came to the restaurants, because you don't learn about so many different type of fruits and vegetables, and then you need to check everything. And yeah, so it was challenging, but like you can do it. Everyone can do it. If I've done it, I think everyone else, and just not to let your fears control you. And my brand today, it's really just from the side of, just empower each other, really tell a story behind it, and learn that sharing is caring. And just to be out there. And I'm also, if I look at my brand, it was funny because I'll share something very private, but when I was now in Israel for my mom's 3 years ceremony, I went to a psychologist that I used to go to many, many years ago. And I just wanted to have like one session to clear my head, because it was in a very emotional time, because the first year you don't really deal with this, at least for me. And then the third year, it really hit me. And she said something funny, because she looked at me, and she's very orthodox, and she looked at me and said, it's funny that you actually needed to move from one side of the planet to the other side to find yourself. And it's funny that you move from like marketing and branding other people now to the toughest part, to brand yourself. And I was thinking about it, and she was right. And she was the one that also told me, like, you don't need to be back now in Israel. You still need to complete your journey and heal yourself. So my brand is part of my healing process. And that's why I've done those different like images that they probably will see, that I've got an image of me in a box, which I really like, because it's the opposite of like, instead of staying in the box, things outside of the box. And that's why I'm using this type of images. So I think it's an amazing concept. So even if you don't have a photographer to do it in the US, ask your photographer to actually take pictures while you're getting into a carton box, because it's just amazing. And it's like you can play with it in a nicer, fun way, and just to do something creative. And that's what I'm trying to bring out myself, my fun Dana, my creative Dana, like go with the flow, have fun, do things outside of your comfort zone, keep on pushing yourself. And that's what I'm trying to keep on with my branding. And that's why I pushed myself forward, and I'm now in the front of my brand, which wasn't easy. Yes. But I know it's the right thing for me to do. And I do it for myself, but I also do it for my clients, because I want them to see there's nothing wrong in putting yourself in the front, This is you. And that's why I don't really believe in competition when we talk about the small business and entrepreneurs. I'm living the side like of the big companies, but if you look at the small ones, there's no such thing, because I can teach you marketing and you can teach them marketing. But some people will feel a better connection to me because of my personality, because the way I speak and stuff like this. And same for you. And that's the beauty of it. There's no such thing as a competition. So just be true to yourself, like I'm being true to myself. And that's what I'm trying to bring out there with my brand. And that's the message that I always keep repeating. Just be yourself. The moment you are loyal to yourself, you're authentic, people will come, and the right people will come to you. And that's the thing. Don't chase after the amount of followers and the amount of likes. That doesn't pay the bills in the end of the month. That's not what's going to help you to bring like a strong community and build relationship. You know, get more engagement, have a conversation, get people. And that's how we met, because I sent you a message like, hi, thank you for following us. And then you replied, and then we started a conversation. And that's the beauty of it. You start conversation, you're meeting people, you're growing, you're inspiring, you get inspired. It's all of it together. And I think that's what I'm really trying to push with my brand, and how to think big and think outside the box. You can be big. That's you. Be whatever you want to be, and just do things. Don't wait for other people to do it. And then say, oh, I actually could have done it. Oh, I missed that opportunity.
Yeah.
There's no grab every opportunity you've got. Now it's a time to become even more online. So do it. Don't be afraid. Do it. Grab it. And everyone can do it. I even gave yesterday an example of like some guy that only fixed like pipes and stuff like this. Even he can give like free advices through YouTube or like on videos on Facebook, and through that to reach out to more people and to become the go-to person. So why not do it? Why not use it? I always say it's up to us to create the opportunity, because the opportunities are always there. And if we're not going to grab it, someone else will. So I'm not going to give someone else to grab it.
Well, that is absolutely perfect. And, you know, I couldn't have said it better. It's exactly what people need to kind of gather that courage, because I say everyone has talent. You're talented in different ways that I'm talented, even to your point, if we do the same thing. So if you're making a product and I make the same kind of product, mine isn't the same as yours, because we are unique and different in how we approach life. And so my story is different than your story, but the stories could come together. That's the other thing I like to teach people is, especially women, learn to collaborate. So let's say you're making jewelry and you meet a woman who makes scarves. Gosh, that's a perfect combination. Get together with that woman. She probably knows someone who makes knits ponchos or sells shoes, and now you've got a whole outfit going. So we build community that way.
And I really believe in this, because even the lady that I did with her yesterday, she's actually a graphic designer and I'm a marketing person. And we spoke together about how to market yourself and brand yourself and promote yourself from the two different angles, and how to look at things and how to merge. So I really believe there's a lot of collaborations that you can do regardless, like to the situation now, and use it, because not only that you giving more added value to your potential clients and to your clients and to your followers, you also, you know, gaining from each other is like more people to watch you. So why not? Like there's a lot of opportunities in it, and people need to stop be afraid from these things. And but make sure when you collaborate with someone that is pretty much on the same level as you, so you can both benefit of it, and that you have a connection with, that there is a certain flow to the conversation. Because if there's no nice flow to the conversation, so people are going to feel it and they don't want to watch it. So that's why it's very important to collaborate. So check before, like have a conversation with that person before, see how you're chatting, see how the conversation. And that's the nice thing, because I, for example, the first time I started to put myself out there is that I actually met a lady in a networking event. And I don't know, I just felt a connection. And I'm a person that's very strong, we've got a very strong intuition. And I realized that my problem in South Africa is that people are very afraid from scams here. And I need to gain their trust. And I need to learn to put myself out there. Because versus Israel, I don't need to put a picture of myself in my website. And here, that was a demand that I need to put my pictures. So it was a bit of a struggle and to learn that culture. And then I reached out to her and I said, like, listen, do you want to do a weekly podcast with me? She looked at me like I can hear on the phone. She was like, but you know what? I'll give it a chance. Then we met and she said, you know what? I'll give it a try for 1 month. After the first time we've done it, and we both were afraid, we couldn't sleep the night before. We couldn't, like we came with our stomach sore. And then we did our first one live, and it was amazing. But because we had such an amazing flow before, and we had such a good connection, that you can actually see it on the camera, and we got a lot of response around it. And since then, we're doing it now for a year. And that's why I pushed myself at one point to do videos by myself. And it's amazing how we both grew out of it, because we find the right connection and we're getting along so well, and it's just inspiring others. So find someone like this. Even if you're afraid to do a video by yourself and you want to do it for a business, find someone else to do it with. And today, like with Zoom, and then there's other apps, and I'm willing to share one of the other apps that you can actually split the screen and do with other more people and do a live also. But do it. Get that start off. Like that lady that did with me yesterday, that was the first time that she did a video and a live one. And it was nice for me to know that I encouraged her to do it. But now she's like, okay, let's do more. Let's do more. And she's looking for more topics. And that's the beauty of it. So find someone, connection, collaborate with him, and build something. And you're going to get a lot of it.
Right. And once you do it once, a lot of times somebody will do something like that, and then they'll be thinking, why did I wait so long? That wasn't hard. It's so easy. And I'm one of those people, because it took me a long time to start doing videos like this, because I didn't want to be on camera. And I'm just not a performer, whereas I have a daughter who teaches people how to do public speaking and TED Talks and things, and she's great on camera. So I used to say, well, you be on camera and I'll talk and we'll pretend that I'm you. But I think that
a lot of people also waiting for the perfect moment.
Yes.
And there's no such thing perfect moment. So sorry to burst that bubble, but there's no such thing as a perfect moment. And if we're going to wait for it, it will never come.
Right.
And also when we're taking videos, I know my lighting is not necessarily the perfect one. And I know there's some stuff, but you know what? You don't need to let it hold you. And that's the thing. And like, people are feeling more connection to something that looks very real, something that it's not like a Hollywood kind of style, like now one's try to invest so much money and make you look like you need to invest. No, I actually use my laptop. That's how I do most of my videos. I even do my own editing because I've got like something in my laptop to help me. I'm now waiting. And yes, in the first move video, I actually looked at it. I was sitting like this a bit. And I was looking and I was talking so much with my hands. And then I learned to work with it. So now when I'm doing videos, I did yesterday 6 videos in a row. I was just preparing them. But because I'm thinking as a female, that we're now in 21 days. So over lockdown, who's going to do my eyebrows? My friend cannot do it. So I need to do everything now while still look normal.
Well, see, that's, that is so important there, Dana, because we're coming to the end of our time, and we went a little bit over because in the beginning, really, you were frozen, even though we could hear you. But we've been able to see you for the last 20 minutes at least. And here's the thing. We are in lockdown. You're in lockdown. I'm in quarantine. And so here's my hair that, needs help. Here's my bangs that need help. But we're all going to do it. And it's not, the world doesn't revolve on our lipstick or, our eyebrows. And the reality is, I think you look beautiful. You look great to me. And that's what I tell people, and sometimes I remind myself, because I'm like, I've seen videos of myself, and this particular thing about my face that I don't like doesn't show up. So I'm okay. I got to let that go and just get out there and be, like you said, be yourself. Be the person that you want other people to connect with. So yes, thank you so much. We really have to wind up. We could go on and talk. I think you have so many great points. I will be sharing them on the blog for people to see. And Dana, it's just, how many days now are you in lockdown?
Today is actually a full week, but we did start it a bit before, so some of us, so yeah.
So yeah, it's been 4 weeks to go. Yay. Yeah. and you were telling me that you can go out to get groceries, but that you have to show that you got groceries, or
you actually need to present your receipt on the way back. You've got the army here, and like everyone's like out there just to make sure that you're not far, because they're really afraid that it's going to spread in the townships and places like this. But it's like, I'm like lucky enough versus Israel, like I live in a complex here that I've got my mini yard, we've got a pool, so we can actually do a walk in the complex. So there is like enough space. But I actually do lots of yoga to my friends. So now because I'm starting to I do my tutorials to become a yoga teacher as well. Because that's what really helped me when my mom was sick. The yoga was the gift that I got.
Wow.
So I'm just sharing with them, and I do all the time yoga for kiddies in the morning. We do some nice animals and things like that. And in the evening, I do to my friends, and keeping busy and working and sharing and like, so, you know, it's a mind, it's a mindset that we need to change, and it's a mind game as well.
Yeah.
Because I was telling one of my friends that like, I'm either going to lose my mind in the end of it because I'm an overthinker. I overthink about everything. So it's either I'm going to learn to manage it or I'm going to get insane. But I'm working on it very nicely. So I'm happy. And I'm keeping myself busy. And yes, and we need to be very grateful for the fact that, you know, we've got an opportunity to sit in a house and to have Wi-Fi and to watch TV and spend time with the loved ones.
Right.
And because I look at people here, they don't have that opportunity, and, you know, they live like in a shack, and they not necessarily have all that type of terms that we've got. So I do believe that, you know, I'll share this story, like a quick one, and before we end. But one time, my auntie said something nice. She asked me, you know, she told me a story about people that everyone got a different box. One got a small box, one a medium, one a big one. And then one asked the other, do you want us to exchange boxes? And the answer was no. Like even the one with the small ones prefer to be where it is, because I know my problems. I know how to deal with my problems. I don't want to take the big one and maybe I don't know how to deal with this. We all get different situations in our life because we know how to deal with them. That's why we get it, because that's part of our process, part of our growing, part of our journey. And that's why we all got our own box. Doesn't matter what's the size of it. We know how to deal with it. So we need to deal with this. And from here to see it as part of like our growing. And I say every day, thank you for what I've got, and thank you for all the obstacles and challenges that I've got in life, because that's how I'm growing, and that's part of who you are as a brand. That's what's going to push you from one place to another. That's how you're going to get there. So just take it as part of what's building you up.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Dana, this has been absolutely fabulous. I can't thank you enough. I'm eager to share you with everyone, and I will be in touch, and you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Thank you for hosting me and for giving me the opportunity to just share and hopefully to impact other people's life, and for them to go do something, do what you want to do.
Yep.
Do it for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yay.
All right.